Alex Patelis, the Chief Advisor to the Prime Minister. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, John, and thank you for the very kind invitation to the organizers. And let me just add what an honor it is to be here today with such a distinguished panel. I will try to keep my comments a little bit more lighthearted and give you some specific examples of the type of investments that might be financed by Greece's Recovery and Resilience Plan. And I've selected here five different examples from all four pillars. They're not necessarily the most important examples, but I think they're kind of interesting. Starting with the green pillar, we have a major project of reforestation. This is something that receives a lot of public support. On my Twitter account, I noticed that talking about reforestation got a lot of likes. There is a plan for a 6-year program that covers 30 million trees over 500,000 acres. And of course, the objective here is to restore a significant number of degraded forest ecosystem. The project also includes policies related to alternative energy supplies, frugal use of timber, and the promotion of food production in forests. And it will conclude with a system of protection and monitoring of the implemented reforestations. We also have the objective of protecting biodiversity. Remember, Greece contributes significantly to European biodiversity, with almost 32% of known European species being present in the country, and about 27% of the country's land area in the Natura 2000 network. So here we have an investment that aims to protect biodiversity and restore the ecosystem. There's a lot of actions included in this, the creation of a national network of paths and hiking trails, the establishment of a national system for permanent monitoring of species and habitat types, and a national system for the surveillance of protected areas. Another project, as an example, comes from the digital pillar, and here we have 5G. As you might know, in 1 week, Greece will be auctioning off its 5G spectrum. And together with that, we're creating the so-called Festos Fund with a quarter of the proceeds that will, its objective will be to invest in tech companies mainly focused on research and development of systems working on 5G infrastructure, which will help create the necessary ecosystem that to tap the full potential of 5G in Greece. There's also a development of 5G networks to provide coverage in all of Greek motorways that are part of the trans-European transport networks, and this is in line with Europe's 5G action plan. The other example I want to talk about is from the pillar on employment, skills, and social cohesion. And here we have an attempt to offer diversity training for both the public and the private sector. Greece has a long way to go to ensure equal opportunities and access to all, and we need to address head-on discrimination based on gender, sexual orientation, age, disability, nationality, and other special characteristics. So this particular project will involve the creation of education material and training methodologies and a platform to train front office employees and managers, employers and employees. This will be both for the public sector and for the private sector. And in the public sector, completion of the training program will be proven by training certificates, which will be mandatory for evaluating and promoting employees to positions of responsibility. And finally, in the fourth pillar, let me highlight two different ideas. First, we have about 600,000 cash registers currently operating in Greece. Only about half of them are properly connected. And what we want to do here is a program to replace all cash registers with those that are certified and modern, to make them both cyber attack resilient, but also to have an integrated POS terminal or a certified interface with a POS terminal, which will allow them to communicate online with the Inland Revenue, their systems, transmitting real-time VAT receipts and others. And of course, the objective is to drastically reduce tax evasion. Remember, fighting tax evasion is a fiscal issue, but it's also an issue of social justice and equality under the law. And last but not least, let me also talk about culture. We have some interesting projects here. One of them is upgrading the infrastructure for attracting visitors that have access difficulties, whether they are visitors of older age, so-called silver tourism, or those more vulnerable or disabled. And the project foresees interventions in museums, theaters, festivals, archaeological sites, etc., to improve physical access. And of course, the development of guided tour systems for people with with hearing or vision aids for people with hearing or vision problems, and also the simplification of the process for verifying the status of disabled people and other more vulnerable groups. That is the creation of a digital culture card. There's also actions related towards mental health. There's a growing body of evidence that active involvement in creative and cultural activities provides a wide range of benefits, including as a medium to prevention and treatment of mental illness. So people with depression, dementia, autism, and other mental illnesses can benefit from participating in cultural programs and interacting with various art forms. And so here we have the design of educational and training programs for cultural and mental health professionals, as well as the development of joint programs, research studies, and targeted actions for mental health patients, dependents, inmates of penitentiary institutions, as well as medical and nursing staff of both government agencies and the private market. Those were my initial comments, and I hope they gave you a little bit of a more flavor of what's in store for the Greece's Recovery and Resilience Plan. Thank you.